Zombie Apocalypse for Kids, The Sudden Zombie Invasion, Adventure Stories for Kids. Written by Jeff Child. Narrated by John H. Feskins. Introduction. The zombies are invading the village. What to do next? Jace and Cynthia don't know either. They are too busy arguing, but when the situation becomes a serious matter of life and death, they remember what they had and join each other on an adventure into the secret tunnels beneath the village and survive the vicious zombie attacks. Listen about their experiences in this story. Chapter 1. His Version. Jace gets up. His wife is still asleep. It's early in the morning, but he has plans. He has been married to his beautiful girl for 3 years now, and he wants to make it something special. Today is the day before their anniversary. It's the day before they got married, 3 years ago. He puts on his favorite sweater and sneaks out of the house with some golden coins in his pocket. The neighborhood is quiet, especially now. And even though they live in a medieval-like farmer's village, none of its inhabitants like to get up early. The only ones that do are the actual farmers on the outskirts of town. Almost tripping over a few chickens, Jace makes his way to a house about 10 blocks away. He looks around him. There is nobody there. Then he knocks on the door and waits. A young woman opens up. "Ah, Jace," she says with a big smile, "I am glad you could make it. I know it's early, but you were determined to do this without your wife knowing about it, weren't you?" "Exactly, Naomi," Jace says. "She has never been an early bird anyway, so I knew I could get away. I don't even think she noticed that my snoring stopped when I woke up." "Ha ha ha," Naomi laughs. "Well, come in. I will show you what I have." She opens the door a little wider, and Jace walks in. "Nice place you got here," he says. "I know, right? I decorated it myself." Jace looks around and observes the colorful framed paintings on the wall, the ornamental necklaces and chimes hanging on the ceiling, and the elegant statues on the little tables in every corner of the room. Naomi has some taste in art, that's obvious. She knows how to brighten up the place. She is wearing a green and red necklace herself, with a little skull and unicorn symbol in the middle of it. It almost looks like she is trying to be eccentric with her own random style. "Interesting taste in lighting and fashion," Jace mentions, as he watches the red-green shades in front of the candles and the necklace Naomi is wearing. "Yes, I usually don't go with the flow. I do my own thing, even if other villagers think it's weird." "No, it's good. I like it," Jace assures her. "Anyway, are you ready to show me it?" "Yes, here it is. See? I can take this board and write down the text. Then I can go over it with this paint. Excuse me, it's over there. Okay, and then I can patch it up with color, add a little bit of this, and take all day working on the details. I have a board like it, but with a different inscription. Do you want me to show you?" "Of course. If it's going to be like the other one, then I want to see what the results will be." "Makes sense," Naomi says. "I'll get it. Just a minute. It's in the shed." Naomi goes outside and turns around the corner of her open shed. She reaches for the board she was talking about, but her white dress gets caught by a nail sticking out in a beam. "Rip!" "Ow, hey, what the?" she says. The ripped dress reveals part of her upper legs, and as the whole thing is about to fall apart, her shoulders are bare. The dress is slowly falling off, and the frustrated Naomi tries to hold the board with one hand and lift up the straps of her dress with the other. She walks to the front door in an awkward little circle, almost like a drunk person, and glances around. "At least nobody saw that," she says. "That would have been embarrassing." She puts the decorated board down after she heads inside, then she goes straight up the stairs. "Could you just wait a little while?" she shouts downstairs. "I have to get changed." "No problem," Jace shouts back. Naomi takes her dress off and looks at it. "Oh well," she says. "It was a little worn anyway, and it didn't cost much." She throws the dress on the floor and takes another one out of her closet. After dressing up, she goes back downstairs, picks up the board, and walks into the living room, where she puts the board on the table in front of Jace. "What happened?" Jace asks. "You don't want to know, trust me. Now let's focus on the board. See what I did there? I painted these colors here and added some decorations there." "Oh, wow, I love that," Jace exclaims. "That's exactly what I wanted." "Ha ha, good. Then that's what we will do." She puts the board in the corner of the room and says, "That will be 4 pieces of gold." "No problem. It's going to be great," Jace says. They talk a little longer, and Jace goes back home. He whistles on the way there, happy that he finally found something worth his money. But when he gets home, his wife is standing in front of the door, waiting for him with her arms folded. "What was that all about?" she asks. "What?" "Where did you go?" Cynthia demands to know. "I just went out. You wouldn't want to know," Jace says. "Oh, trust me, I do," Cynthia sneers. "You have some explaining to do." "Well, I will tell you later," Jace says. "Now is not the time." "Why not? What happened?" "Come on, honey. I just don't want to say anything about it at this time. Is that okay?" "No, it's not okay. I want to know." Jace shrugs. He doesn't want to spoil the surprise. He feels no obligation to tell his wife where he spent the last half hour. He goes inside and goes about his business. Cynthia watches him enter their home and feels frustrated. That night, they don't talk. They don't kiss each other goodnight. Cynthia blows out the candle on their nightstand and they go to sleep. Jace is happy. He knows she will love it once it's done. With a smile on his face, he falls asleep. Chapter 2. Her Version. Cynthia wakes up. She was used to the sound of him snoring, but she notices immediately when it stops as well. She keeps her eyes closed, thinking he is just going to the bathroom. But then he gets dressed, and she gets curious. What is he doing? She thinks. He doesn't usually get up until in an hour. Then he exits the house, and Cynthia gets really curious. I want to know what he is up to, she tells herself, and she puts on some pink shirt and red skirt. She heads out the door and sees her husband turn around the corner. Cynthia keeps her distance and follows her loved one to the house where he knocks on the door. When a young, attractive woman opens the door, Cynthia gets suspicious. Who is that girl? She asks herself. I've never seen her before, and how does she know my husband? She listens carefully. She can't make out what they're saying, but when she sees the young woman laugh about something Jace said, Cynthia is boiling up inside. Is she flirting with him? That mean, awful wench, Cynthia thinks. How dare she steal my husband away from me? They're taking too long. It's driving Cynthia crazy. What on earth are they doing in there? Then a bird catches her eye. It's singing loudly right next to her. Shh, Cynthia whispers. I am trying to spy on my husband here. Cynthia turns her head to the house again and is in shock. What? She thinks. That woman is only half dressed. You can see her legs and shoulders, and her dress is almost falling off. And what is that thing she is holding in her hand? Looks like a wooden board or something. Look at the way she walks. She looks drunk. I have to know more about this. Cynthia tiptoes to the front door and starts eavesdropping. Oh, wow, I love that, she hears Jace say. That's exactly what I wanted. Ha ha, good, then that's what we will do. Huh? Do what? Cynthia thinks. What was exactly what he wanted? This is getting weird. Then she hears the young woman say, That will be 4 pieces of gold. No problem. It's going to be great, Jace says. What? Cynthia thinks. Her brain is going crazy. She always thought of Jace as a good guy, but what is he spending money on now? As she catches herself become more emotional, Cynthia decides it's time to leave. She doesn't want to know anything else about this. Her man better have a good explanation for all of this. Distraught by what she heard and saw, she walks home and holds back her tears. Oh, if only she could trust him, But now she isn't even sure of that anymore. Where has she gone wrong? Was it her fault? Why did Jace let himself fall for another woman? Was their marriage not good enough? When Cynthia comes home, she doesn't feel like going inside. She stares at her house and listens to the whispers of the wind. The same bird flies over her head and disappears into the distance. When she sees how cheerful Jace is when he comes home, whistling all the way, she gets even more upset. They talk. Of course he doesn't want to explain anything. He has been doing sneaky things behind her back, and has been to that woman for whatever reasons she doesn't want to think of. Eventually, she accepts his nonchalant attitude and gives up. She doesn't sleep much that night, though. Not 1 minute. Chapter 3. Zombie Invasion. Bang! The door flies open. "What was that?" Cynthia asks as she wakes up. "I don't know," Jace says. "Maybe just the wind?" "Go check," Cynthia pleads. "Please?" "No problem," Jace answers. He puts on some clothes and goes downstairs to the living room. He was right, he thought. It really was the wind. Or was it? He licks his finger and holds it up in the air. Strange. There is hardly any wind. Did someone enter their house? He gets anxious and suspicious, so he takes the stick from a broom in the corner as a weapon and sneaks through the living room, the shed, and some other rooms. Nothing. Nobody. It is empty. He goes outside and checks the streets. And there it is. Jace sees a shady figure, but it appears as if the person in front of him is green. He is wearing a blue outfit, and with his red glowing eyes, he looks straight at Jace. "What is that?" Jace asks. But before he can utter another word, the creature runs at him. Jace steps back inside and closes the doors. Then he locks it. The creature bangs his fists on the door. "Honey?" Jace hears Cynthia yell from upstairs. "What's going on?" "I think it's a zombie," Jace shouts back. "He's trying to break into our house." "What are we going to do?" Cynthia asks. "Oh, I am sure he will give up after a while. The door is locked." But Jace doesn't realize the zombie isn't alone. Suddenly, another zombie jumps through the window. Clash! The pieces of glass are all over the floor, and the zombie has already sped towards Jace and is now trying to choke him. "Honey," Jace says, "could you knock the zombie out?" Cynthia looks at the broomstick and puts her hands in her side. "I don't know," she says. "If I do, will you tell me what was going on between you and that lovely young woman?" What? Come on, just save my life already," Jace shouts. Okay. Cynthia takes the broomstick and bangs the zombie on his head. "Thank you," Jace says. "Now could you please stop worrying about what I did at that house? I told you I will explain it to you later." "Sure you will," Cynthia says, still suspicious of the worst. They both peek through the front window, the one that hasn't been broken, and see a horde of zombies in the village. They are huge, almost twice as big as human beings. It is as if they increased in size after rising from the dead, or as if only the biggest humans turned into the undead. "Oh my goodness," Cynthia says. "It's an invasion. There are hundreds of them. What will we do?" "I know a way," Jace says. "There are too many of them. We shouldn't try to fight them." "But what about the other villagers?" "There is nothing we can do. I hope they will be okay, but for now, we have to save our own skin. Don't you agree?" "I guess you're right. So what is this amazing idea of yours?" she asks sarcastically. "There is an underground passage," Jace says. "It's not too far from here. Hopefully we can sneak by the attacking zombies and make our way there without being seen." "Okay, let's do it. I don't feel safe here." Chapter 4. The Secret Passage. Jace opens the back door. It's quiet in the back street of the neighborhood, although they hear voices and screams all around them. Jace checks twice to make sure he doesn't misinterpret the situation. "This is our chance," he says. "The hatch is on the other side of the street in a tiny barn around the corner of that house. When I say run, we'll both run over there, and I will lift up the hatch. Got it?"
"Got it,"
Cynthia says. Jace looks one more time, both ways, and then says, "Go!" Hand in hand, the couple runs towards the barn and turns around the corner. They see the hatch, and Jace lifts it up. Cynthia goes halfway inside the tunnel and then asks, "How come nobody else knows about this passage?"
"Hurry," Jace whispers. "We have no time to lose. I will tell you when we are there."
Cynthia slides down the ladder and ends up in some mud. "Yuck!" she exclaims.
"Come on," Jace says. "Keep moving, please. Here I come."
He slides down and joins his wife in the murky fluids that are covering their feet and shins. He looks at her with a smirk on his face. She is not pleased. He decides to say nothing. Better not to make her angrier than she already is.
"So to answer my questions," Cynthia says, hoping that her husband will fill her in.
"Ah, yes. It was actually built by my grandfather. It is very well hidden, and nobody comes here anyway. So I don't think anyone has ever discovered it, yet."
"Why did your father build it?"
"I think there were zombies back then, too. I just wonder how bad it was back then versus now."
"Well, it sounds awful outside," Cynthia says. "I am glad I am here. Have you thought about how to see? It's pitch black."
"I'm already ahead of you," Jace says as he lights a candle. Together, they walk through the tunnel. Above them, the sounds of the invading zombies are abundant in the village, but the married couple is safely set in their tunnel. With the candle in front of them, they hope for the best. Suddenly, they hear a noise. Bonk! Jace and Cynthia put their backs against the wall. Then a male voice shouts, "Who goes there?"
"I thought you said nobody knew about this place," Cynthia says.
"That's right," Jace says, "but maybe I was wrong. Let's check it out." Chapter 5. Terry. "Who goes there?" the voice asks again. It's us. Our names are Jace and Cynthia," Jace shouts back. "We're not zombies, so please don't kill us." "Step into the light," the voice says. Jace goes first. Cynthia is holding onto his arm tightly, almost squeezing it too hard. She is a little nervous, even though the man obviously isn't a zombie. When they step into the light, the man is relieved. "Looks like you two are all right," he says. He steps into the light too and introduces himself. "My name is Terry. I've known about this place for years. I don't know why anybody else hasn't discovered it, but I knew I should go here when the zombies attack." "How did you find it?" Jace asks. "I'm just a big snoop. I just follow people and see what they are up to. One day I just stumbled upon the hatch, and of course I wanted to know what was underneath it. There is really no story to it." "Oh, okay. So what's your plan?" "Zombie attacks usually last for several days. After that, lots of people will have turned into zombies themselves. It's sad, but it's the harsh truth. Honestly, I don't think I have a plan. I'm just going to wait here until they leave town." Then Jace notices the necklace Terry is wearing. Odd. It is the same necklace Naomi was wearing. "Where did you get that?" Jace wants to know.
I don't know. Why do you ask?" Terry asks.
"I saw someone else wearing that necklace. It had red and green, and a skull and unicorn symbol hanging on it. So perhaps you got it at the same place?" And that's when Terry gets a little emotional. His self-denial stage is already over, even within those very seconds. At first, Jace and Cynthia are surprised by the sudden change in his demeanor. But when they hear his explanation, they begin to understand. "Who was the one you saw wearing the necklace?" Terry asks. "Her name is Naomi," Jace says. "She has a little art shop in town."
"Naomi? Who is Naomi? How do you know a girl named Naomi?" Cynthia demands to know, still suspicious of her husband's intentions.
"Never mind that," Jace says. "I will tell you later. So, how about it, Terry? Is there a connection?"
Terry stutters. Well, she is my wife. We wear the same necklaces just to show our love and commitment to each other. We got split up. I feel so terrible. No, you feel terrible, Cynthia says. Ha ha! She looks at the two men in front of her. They are not amused. Sorry, Cynthia says. Please continue. Anyway, Terry says, the zombies were coming. I was on the other side of town doing some business, but I thought I could come here and meet her here. We discussed this before. If zombies would attack, we would go to the tunnel. But now, after being here for a while, and seeing that she hasn't even shown up yet, I am starting to get a little worried. I understand, Jay says. You feel guilty because you feel that you should have gotten her first, right? Exactly. So what should I do now? Do I go out there and get her? Or do I wait here and hope that she shows up?
Chapter 6. Sneaking into the Village. Jace looks Terry in the eyes and says, Be a man. Go get your woman. There is no time to lose.
Really? He asks. Wow. Okay, sure. Yes, that's what I am going to do.
Cynthia has a loving look in her eyes when she hears Jace's thoughts on courage and fidelity. She gets a little closer to him and asks, Would you have come back for me if I was there by myself, surrounded by zombies? Of course I would have, Cynthia, Jace says. We are married. I love you. I would do anything to protect you. Cynthia thinks for a moment and then says, We have to help this man. Let's go with him. Are you sure? We could just stay here in the tunnel. It would be safer. No, Cynthia insists. He deserves a happy life, like us. Jace is glad to hear that Cynthia still considers their life to be happy, despite the miscommunication between the two of them. He knows she will be even happier when she finds out what he was going to give her. But now he is not so sure it will still be there, since the zombies turned the whole world upside down. Take these, Terry says, handing the other two a sword and an axe. I'm kind of a fan of the shovel myself, but I am sure you can put these weapons to good use if you see a zombie. Thanks, Jace says. Ready to go? Yes, I am, Terry says, in a determined voice as he walks past them. Let's kill some zombies. Jace and Cynthia are right behind him. They splash through the muddy tunnel ground and reach the hatch. They look at each other and climb the ladder. Back on the village roads, they are shocked. In front of them, a village abides in chaos. Zombies are running after villagers, homes are burning, screams are heard everywhere, as well as howling and groaning zombie sounds. Some people are unsuccessfully making an attempt to defend themselves and hack a few zombies down before they get bitten. The entire view is chilling and horrific. Terrifying, Terry says. Ha! You mean terrifying, Cynthia says with a smirk on her face. The two men look at her with a serious facial expression. Sorry, I'll stop making puns, Cynthia says sheepishly. Let's just sneak from the one backyard to the other, Terry suggests. Most of the zombies are in the front yards, in the houses, and on the street. It's not too far from here. Let's go to my home and see if Naomi is there. The trio stays low and peeps over every fence before they go to the next backyard, and the next, and the next. Eventually, they get close to Terry's and Naomi's house. They hop over their white picket fence and run to the burning house. Hey, wait a minute, Cynthia says, turning to her husband. This is the same house you went to, you two-faced cheater. But honey, could we please talk about this later? I can explain, Jace says. Pfft, you better have a good explanation then, Cynthia says angrily as she rolls her eyes. The woman was half undressed and giggling when you were talking. Doesn't that say enough? Jace ignores her complaints. Fortunately, their conversation doesn't raise any suspicions in Terry, because he didn't hear what they were talking about. He already entered their home and starts looking for his wife. Naomi, he shouts. Naomi, are you in here? Luckily, only the upstairs is on fire, Jace says. Did I ever tell you not to run into a burning building because of the smoke and the fire?
I know, Cynthia says. Hopefully she is downstairs. Otherwise I wouldn't know what to do, although I am not sure anymore if I want that seductive woman to live.
But then she sees it.
What is that?
Cynthia asks when she picks up the item in front of her. Chapter 7. Forever. Cynthia is holding a board. It's charred, and apparently it didn't really survive the incineration of the upper half of the house. But despite the dirty look and disgusting soot on it, she is still able to read the inscription through the faded decorative patterns. In swirly letters, almost like calligraphy, it reads, Cynthia and Jace forever. She stares at it. She is speechless. Jace scratches his head when he realizes that there is hardly anything left of the item he paid 4 golden coins for. Cynthia's back is turned towards her husband, so Jace has no idea what she is feeling. He can't see her facial expression, so he just waits. Well, Jace says after a little while, it was going to be something for you, for our anniversary. Did you notice I put your name first? It's because I wanted to make you realize how important you are to me. And maybe you can still see a heart or a star in there. Anyway, sorry that it burned down. I realize it's a waste of money since it isn't any good to us now. But when Cynthia turns around, there are tears in her eyes, tears of happiness. She drops the board and throws her arms around her well-intending husband. Then she kisses him.
Thank you, she says. I'm sorry I was so suspicious. You're the best man I could ever ask for.
Jace just smiles. It seems as if the moment lasts forever, even though it is only a few seconds long. They stare at each other and feel like they're floating, until they get interrupted by Terry.
Help! Terry shouts. I need some help here.
Jace and Cynthia hurry into the direction where the sound is coming from. They hop over a broken table and run into another room. There they see Terry, who is trying to lift a heavy beam that is blocking Naomi's legs. She is conscious and she seems all right, but she is unable to move away from the debris. Naomi, Jace says, thanks for the wonderful work you've done.
You're welcome, she says. Sorry it got burned. I can return you the 4 pieces of gold if you want me to.
Nah, we're good. You did your job, Jace says.
Wait a minute, Cynthia says. I'll take those pieces of gold. Why would you turn down an offer for a free refund, Jace?
Okay, touche, Jace says. They stop talking and lift up the beam. The 3 of them have enough strength to get the heavy object away from Naomi, who slowly stands up and starts walking again.
Let's get out of here, she says, after giving Terry a hug. There are still tons of zombies around.
Chapter 8. The End Sprint. The 4 survivors sneak back through the backyards, heading into the direction of the hatch to the tunnel. But before they get there, they get confronted by a horde of zombies that just happens to see them. One of them says, probably meaning, over there. Another one adds. The 2 couples figure that it probably means, let's get them. Run, Terry yells. They start running and get closer to the secret tunnels, and the zombies are chasing after them. They must know that we're here, Jace says. You can go. I will distract them.
No, Cynthia says. I won't leave your side. Don't leave me.
It's too late to start a discussion, so Jace accepts her willingness to come with him. They deviate from their course and run towards the other side of the village. All the zombies come after them, leaving Terry and Naomi to hide in the tunnels. There, Jace says, pointing to an empty house. He bashes through the door and hides his wife underneath a table in the corner. The zombies quickly run by. Cynthia is sitting in Jace's arms, feeling protected by her strong man. He looks through the window and sighs. I think they're gone, he says after some time. Let's go to the hatch. But when they walk out of the house, two zombies are standing in front of them. They growl and drool and look vicious. "You take the one on the left, then I'll take the one on the right," Jace says. "Deal," Cynthia agrees. She holds her axe next to her, ready to swing it at the zombie on the left. Jace holds his sword in front of him and stabs the zombie on the right. The zombie falls down instantly. Then Cynthia swings at the other zombie. Bonk! Unconscious, on the ground. "Nice job," Jace says. "I don't know why you're always implying that you need protection from me. You are fine taking out the zombies." "Thank you," Cynthia says proudly. No more zombies cross their paths on the way to the hatch. They consider themselves lucky. When they get to the hatch, Terry and Naomi are waiting for them. "Welcome to the underground movement," Terry says. "We decided to wait here and see if any other civilians would survive. There are about 50 people in there now." "Excellent," Jace says. "How long before the zombies will disappear?" "Probably a couple of days. That's how it usually goes. I've seen it in other villages. Oh, and we might want to turn off all our candles and torches. There are small cracks in the ceiling, and I don't want the risk that zombies see us." 2 whole days without light?" Jace asks. "Whoa, sounds intense." Cynthia puts her head on his shoulder and her hand on his chest. She smiles and says, "I can get used to that. 2 days in the dark with you." Jace smiles. She is right. He strokes her hair and says, "Happy anniversary, honey." The end. This has been Zombie Apocalypse for Kids, The Sudden Zombie Invasion, Adventure Stories for Kids. Written by Jeff Child. Narrated by John H. Feskins. Copyright 2017 by Jeff Child. Production copyright 2017 by Jeff Child. Zombie Apocalypse for Kids. 4 teenagers on a dangerous journey. Kids Adventure Stories. Written by Jeff Child. Narrated by John H. Feskins. Introduction. In this apocalypse story, you will find out what happened when a small group of young survivors combines forces and tries to fight off the hordes of zombies coming at them. Flashbacks of the pre-apocalypse era bring variety to the story, and the start of a new civilization is the goal of these heroic tough guys and girls. Read an action-packed diary about the struggles of some members of a former destroyed society who are on their way to rebuild everything from the beginning. A new beginning. Chapter 1. Misery. Dear Diary. No, that's not how I should start. I'm a tough dude, for crying out loud. Let's start over, because it may be a diary, but that doesn't mean I have to sound like a wimp. These are hard times. So let's put it in a way that will get the adrenaline in your blood going. Look, we had just barely arrived at the stupid barn, but as soon as we got there, the zombies were already pounding at the doors. They just wouldn't go away. A constant howling, gnashing of teeth, and wailing were heard. Their noises were rending the air, as it were, and the reeking odor of dead corpses entered our senses each day we fled. There were hundreds of them, thousands of them. I lost count of how many I already killed. 2 of my friends were keeping score, though. I think one of them already reached number 843 or something. It was a cool hobby, if you ask me. Something to keep them busy and help them focus on other things. Not me, though. Such trivial activities didn't occupy my mind. I was only obsessed with one thing, finding civilization. I just knew there were others out there like us, others who had survived the disaster and were now waiting for a rescue, or were building up their society the way it used to be. But listen to me rambling about this or that. I'm sure you get the picture. We were stuck in a barn, surrounded by zombies, thinking that we would be safe, but finding out that quite the opposite was true. Let me introduce myself and my team to you. There were 4 of us. First, there was me. My name is Michael. I am 15 years old. I had been fighting zombies for a whole year, and it was almost as if I did nothing else in life. Of course, I was just a student when the whole thing came crumbling down on us, and panic arose, but that's another story. Let me assure you that my favorite weapon was a golden sword. Don't ask me how I found it. I just did. And besides, that too is another story. Then there was Armin. He was 14. He still had a hard time adjusting to the situation, and he showed off all the time because his hormones went up and down all day. The fact that there were 2 girls and 2 guys made him go a little crazy sometimes, and he definitely liked the brunette. Either way, they flirted back and forth all the time, which put me and the other girl in an awkward position. Armin's favorite weapon was an iron axe. He got it from a barn, just like this one, and he never parted with it since. The third member of our little made-up team was Caitlin. She was only 13 years old, and had just finished high school when the zombies attacked. Her brown hair and blue eyes made her a target for many flirtatious guys in school, and the fact that she had been a cheerleader all that time made it worse. All she ever talked about was makeup, hair, clothes, and nails. She wore short skirts and tight shirts all day, and I doubt that she ever got good grades in school because I've seen her handwriting and spelling. Awful. Like I said, she flirted a lot with Armin, the only guy in the vicinity that would show interest in her, but I often wondered if she was really into him or if she just liked the attention. By the way, she often used a stone shovel to defend herself. Sometimes I caught her throwing a bottle of perfume or nail polish remover in a zombie's face. 10 points for creativity, every time. The last one in our group was Lola. In my eyes, she was a lot smarter than the brunette, and contrary to the popular opinion about her hair color, this blonde was a bright, strong survivor. With her iron pickaxe, she would bust the heads of countless zombies and pull out her weapon within seconds each time, as if she had been fighting all her life. It was always a pleasure to watch her from the corner of my eyes, especially when her hips swung one way and her arms the other. It was just amazing how well, anyway, I'm daydreaming here. Lola was 14 and she had a cute face, but she didn't put a lot of effort into beautifying herself. She was in survival mode, and she just had a way to get things done quickly, working on solutions and quick ideas to get us to the next place. So there we were, discussing what to do and where to go. It was a dilemma, because we thought we had lost them, and now we had to move again. "How far is the village?" Lola asked. "If I'm correct, it should be about 10 minutes from here," I said. "Let's go then," she said. "But how?" Armin asked. "Through here," she said, pointing to a crack in the back of the barn. "Do you think there are any zombies there?" Caitlin asked. "I don't know," Lola admitted, "but I hear sounds from all sides of the barn. All the doors are being smothered, while it seems like that opening may actually help us sneak out. It's our only chance." We all agreed that it would be the best way to get out of there, so we rushed towards the crack. It was at the bottom, so we had to lie on our stomachs and crawl through it. Lola was the first one. She lay flat on her stomach and started crawling through. We all waited, and then we heard a whisper. "Guys, it's safe. Just keep quiet and follow me." I went second. I crawled through and safely made it outside. There I noticed Lola hiding in the bushes and signaling with one hand to go to her. Armin went after me and soon joined us in the bushes, away from the barn with zombies. Caitlin was the last one to crawl through, but when she stuck her head through the crack, a zombie appeared and yelled in her face. Caitlin quickly pulled back and screamed, "Ah!" "She didn't make it," I said, burying my face in my hand. "Well, don't just stand there. Let's go get her," Lola said. She rushed towards the barn and smashed the zombie in the head with her pickaxe. His screech alarmed the zombies on the other side, who came running at us within seconds. Lola helped Caitlin crawl through while the two of us were fending off a few zombies with our weapons. Let's go, I shouted. We all ran as fast as we could. I noticed immediately who was out of shape and who wasn't, because there I was, running and observing Lola's backside, who was way ahead of all of us, sprinting her lungs out and reaching the village long before we did. Impressive. What a woman. Caitlin kept up with me, but it was sad to see that Armin, the one who showed off so much, couldn't really back up his mouth by running fast. He fell behind, though still ahead of the zombies, and I actually cracked a smile when I saw him panting heavily and arriving late. Ugh, ooh, oh, heesh. Hey guys, what's the hurry? Armin said. It's not like those zombies are the fastest on the planet or something. Shh, Lola said. There may be zombies in this town too. I say we head for the church tower. A lot of those towers have hatches that lock. If we can make it there, the zombies will eventually give up, or we can descend with this rope from my backpack and slide down via the roof. That sounds like an excellent idea, I said. No sooner said than done. We tiptoed to the church and went inside. No zombies. Good. Our next move was to climb the stairs to the bell tower and hide there. We even found some food hidden in one of the rooms in that building. When we arrived, it was beginning to get dark. We closed the hatch and all fell asleep. It had been a long day. Chapter 2. Where It Began. It was all a big accident. At least that's what we heard. Not too far from one of the bigger villages in the miners' country, there was an experimental lab. I didn't think our scientific research had advanced this far yet, since we all lived under relatively primitive circumstances. But apparently, they knew how to create inexplicable substances. One of those substances was the Y412, a chemical green slush that was supposed to cure patients from certain diseases. Instead, it did the opposite. When they tested it on rats, it didn't seem to do anything. So the biggest mistake they made was assuming that it would be harmless for humans, too. And then it happened. The man lying down on the bed was injected with the Y412. Immediately, he arose and attacked one of the scientists. The patient jumped at him and started choking him while the others were kicking and punching him, trying to prevent a murder. But this made it worse. It stirred the aggression in the patient's brain. He became even more wild and ferocious than before. His nails turned into claws and his teeth into fangs within seconds. As the drool from his mouth hit the floor, the newly bred monster attacked the other scientists as well, biting and scratching every one of them. Before they knew it, they were all the same. It only took seconds before they turned into zombies themselves and began wrecking the place. They broke out and terrorized the village the scientific center was at. There was a soldier there, Benjamin, a retired hero who heard of the outbreak. He didn't hesitate and grabbed his silver sword. Then he stormed out of his house and opened his mouth in awe. Dozens of zombies were quickly running through the streets, breaking homes and biting victims along the way. He had never seen anything like this. "Let's fight back," Benjamin yelled. "Fight back! We cannot let them take the village!" He banged his sword on the doors of those who were still unaware of the situation. The civilians slowly came out and looked at the ongoing chaos. "Get your weapons!" Benjamin shouted. "Let's kill these guys!" Some of the villagers grabbed pitchforks and shovels. Others armed their children and wives with hammers and knives, but most of them ran away in fear. "Come on!" Benjamin shouted as he stabbed one of the zombies in the stomach. "We can win this!" He stabbed and yelled and slashed. He fought back with all his might, but the zombies were becoming too numerous. They were growing exponentially. They were dashing through windows and turning everyone in their way into zombies. Panic was everywhere. "We can beat these monsters!" Benjamin kept shouting. "We can beat—" Thud! Some zombie punched him in the face. It knocked him out and left him there, being stepped on by various zombies, but allowing him to remain human. Who knows what happened after that? I heard it didn't take long before the whole town turned into zombies and dead people. From there, the disease spread across the country. This was the beginning. Chapter 3. The Note. I woke up by the sound of snoring. Armin was lying on his back and sounded like a saw cutting through a log. It wasn't the best way to wake up, but I noticed the sun rose anyway, so it made sense to start looking around. Lola was covered up with a blanket, and so was Caitlin. They were so tired from the day before that they kept sleeping, despite the incoming rays from the sun. I just sat there for an hour. I was going to leave them there because I knew they needed it. Besides, I enjoyed watching Lola sleep. She was so pretty. I wondered if she even knew that I was so impressed by her. Probably not. Caitlin woke up. Where am I? She asked. We're in a church tower, I answered. We're safe here. No zombies. I guess the word zombies woke Lola up, because she instantly rose from her sleeping position and reached for her weapon. Zombies? Where? She said. Don't worry, I said. We locked the hatch, remember? Oh yeah, she said as she rubbed her eyes and yawned. So what is the plan? We should look for any clues to find a colony of survivors, I said. There is only so much we can do by ourselves, but if we join others, we can withstand all the zombies. Well, how about waking up this sleepyhead? Lola said, pointing at the snoring Armin. Sure, I said. Hey, Armin, time to wake up. No response. Armin, I yelled. Wake up, it's time to wake up. Nothing. I can poke him with my pickaxe, Lola said. Amateurs, Caitlin commented. Let me show you how it's done. She leaned over and softly whispered something in his ear. It seemed to penetrate through his brain immediately, because his eyes opened and he stood up, looking at Caitlin with big eyes. What? He asked. Oh, nothing, Caitlin said. What did you tell him? Lola and I inquired. Don't worry about it. Isn't the most important thing that he is up? She said. I guess so, I said. Armin was trying to get his hair straight. What now? He asked. Let's go downstairs, I suggested. We'll search the homes for any indication that people left and gathered somewhere. We can't stay here for long. We need to find others. After carefully opening the hatch, we went down the stairs and searched the church. Luckily, we didn't have to look anywhere else, because on one of the benches there was a note that read, Meet us at Utopia. Turn left at the Elephant Rock. When I picked it up, we all stared at it for a while. Dude, that's awesome, Armin said. Where is Elephant Rock? Caitlin asked. It's on the other side of the country, Lola said, a little disappointed. It's not that awesome. All we have is a note and some vague directions. And it's far. It will take at least a few days to walk there if I'm not mistaken. But it's a chance, I said. Before this, we had nothing. Now, we have a goal. Chapter 4. Journey Across the Country. We took the note and looked for other supplies. None of the zombies in the area were alarmed by our sneaking around the village. Fortunately, they were all gone or hiding from the light. Something that I had been seeing before was that the zombies seldom came out during the day. They were immune to light, and sometimes they did appear in the daytime, but most of them hated the light. They stayed in the shadows until the sun would set. This would give us time to load up on stuff, so we did. We found food, water, and blankets, and we packed everything that was useful. Then we left town. On our way to the supposed colony that we hoped would exist. The plains were dangerous. If there would be any zombies there, they would have seen us by that time, but there weren't. I was just hoping none of them would be smart enough to take a peek there. And since there was nothing else to do, Armin got into bragging mode, like always. You know, Caitlin, he said, it's good we came back for you, or you would have been bitten and turned into a zombie. Yeah, that would have been awful, Caitlin admitted. Thank you for rescuing me. Of course, if you had gone first, then one of us would have been in danger. It was just a coincidence, Lola said. Still, Caitlin said, Armin was brave to come back. No, he wasn't, I said. He just came back because Lola told us to go back. But I would have gone anyway, whether she said it or not, Armin insisted. Sure, I said. I still think you should be thanking Lola instead of Armin, Caitlin." After that, it was silent. We all sensed it. Caitlin was just looking for a reason to flirt with Armin, and Armin was just bragging again, even though he was the last to arrive in the village because of his slow pace. Lola and I exchanged looks. It was kind of like teaming up against the weirdos in the group or something. By having two people to make fun of, it was as if we connected better. We both smiled and shook our heads. "So where did you get that golden blade?" Lola asked. "Well, let me tell you," I started. Chapter 5, Survival Stories. This is the story of how I found the golden sword. The simple truth is, I had been looking for a weapon for days after the outbreak. My parents tried to defend me, telling me to hide in the basement when the zombies attacked. When the noises had disappeared, I came out of my hiding place and discovered an empty house. After all that time, I still didn't know what had happened to them. Perhaps they had turned into zombies, or perhaps they had just died. Nevertheless, I still had a vague hope of finding them in the colony, which was why I was so motivated to find it. I really hoped my parents were still alive somewhere. Anyway, I climbed out of that basement and found the entire village to be empty. I knew there were zombies lurking beneath the corners of the homes, so I hurried to a nearby castle. The castle was owned by some rich lord who had settled in this village, and some of the townspeople had worked at this place to make a living. I knew that if I wanted to find a valuable weapon somewhere, it was going to be in that building. When I came there, corpses were all over the floor. It was terrible. The sight of it was horrifying, and I think I even got a little nauseous when I saw them. I stepped over them and entered the castle. The bridge was wide open, and so was the gate. I looked around and tried to determine where the best place would be to find a weapon to defend myself. I went downstairs and looked some more until I found the armory. Racks with axes, spears, and bows were leaning against the walls, making my dream come true. "Oh, nice," I said, when I picked up an axe with ornaments and a shiny surface. I put it down and looked for the perfect weapon to wield. I was going to be very picky, because I knew I couldn't take all of them with me. But then I heard something. The door opened up and a creepy zombie stood in front of me. It was the first time I had seen a zombie. It was a terrifying experience. I have to admit that I wasn't entirely prepared for this. It was a female, and the flesh on her face and arms was hanging loose. It was super gross, and it was the least attractive image of a woman I would ever see. And now it was out to kill me. She came right at me. "Kraaah!" she screamed, holding her arms and claws in my direction. She knocked me over. I fell backwards. The female zombie was on top of me, trying to bite me, but then I managed to get my feet up and push her in the stomach away from me so that she would fall backwards. Before I could blink my eyes, I saw a blade from the armory impale her. She had fallen onto it and had now become a dead zombie, if that isn't a paradox. I stood up and brushed off the dust from my body. Then I looked at the weapon that had killed my assailant. It was a golden sword. It was beautiful. I didn't know why I hadn't noticed this blade earlier, but now that I had, I fell in love with it. It would become my main weapon, especially since it had accidentally saved my life. I put the sheath on my back and looked like a real warrior. I practiced pulling it out and putting it back in for a few minutes and went outside. And then I saw her, the complete opposite from the monstrous beast I had just destroyed. The elegant girl standing in front of me was the ultimate beauty. Her long blonde hair was waving in the wind, and she was leaning on one hip with a pickaxe in her hand, dripping with blood. She looked at me, and I knew at that moment that the extreme ugliness I had witnessed in the castle was hell before heaven. Wow! Could there be any creature on the face of the planet who looked more gorgeous than this girl? "My name is Lola," she calmly said. "Nice sword. Where did you get it?" "At the armory," I said. "There are more weapons if you want any." "I'm good," she said. "Thanks, though. I have just become pretty good with this pickaxe, and I'm starting to like it." She looked down at a zombie that was trying to get up, moaning heavily.
I told you to stay down and die, she yelled as she thrust her pickaxe in the zombie's neck. After that, he made no more noises. I was surprised. For a girl this cute, she certainly had experience when it came to killing zombies. You're pretty brutal, I said laughingly. Yeah? Well, I've been doing it for a while. In case you haven't noticed, they are everywhere. I have actually, but I just made my first kill. She laughed a little. I wasn't certain if she was being sarcastic or friendly, but it was kind of funny. Congratulations, she said. Get ready to kill more of them. There is no shortage of these disgusting monsters. Sounds about right, I said. By the way, where are you going? If you want, we could travel together. Sure, she said. But you better not get in my way. And if you turn into a zombie, I won't hesitate to chop your head off. Nothing personal. Oh, I understand. Well, I am trying to find a colony of survivors. Good idea, she said. You never know if somebody else might be out there. And that's the moment the other two showed up. Oh my, did you just kill those zombies? Caitlin asked when she walked towards us. Some of them, yes, was Lola's answer. Are you guys warriors? Caitlin asked. I've been training a lot since the outbreak, Lola said, but he just got his first kill. Nice, Armin said. I started killing some yesterday. It's a thrill, and I don't even feel guilty about it. I don't want to kill, Caitlin said. Why is this happening? Well, honey, you'll have to, whether you like it or not, Lola said. If you don't kill them, they will kill you. It's as simple as that. Here, take a shovel. Then you'll at least be able to take them out when they run at you. Reluctantly, Caitlin accepted the weapon Lola handed her. Armin stood next to her and put his arm around her shoulder. Don't worry, girl. I will take care of you. I have an axe, and it's angry. From that moment on, I already knew our whole trip was going to be like this. And that's pretty much how we met each other. Chapter 6. Risky. Back to the plains. We were walking and walking. It took forever. We hid under a giant rock, taking turns standing guard at night. And we did the same thing the next day and the next day. We had enough water to get through these empty landscapes, but in the end we had to be frugal because our resources were running out. Eventually we saw something though, the silhouette of a village. Good, I said. Finally, maybe we can fill up on water and food there. I'm tired. I long for a bed, Caitlin said. I could tell that Armin was exhausted too by the way he was walking, but he tried to look tough and walk up straight in order to impress Caitlin. Still, he was slouching a little. It was funny. When we came to the village, it was awfully quiet. I don't like it, Lola said. Something's wrong. It's not that weird for it to be quiet, I said. We've been to many deserted villages. How is this one any different? I don't know. It's a hunch. Call it female intuition if you will, but there is something fishy going on here. Just be prepared for anything. I don't feel anything, Caitlin said. We didn't comment on that. We let it go and got our weapons ready. When we looked up, we saw it. Zombies were all gathered on the rooftops, lying in wait to attack us. They were everywhere, hundreds of them, and they all climbed up on the houses to ambush us. When they noticed that we saw them, they all jumped off immediately. It's raining zombies, I yelled. Let's get out of here, Armin shouted. To the other side of the village, hurry, Lola said. We ran and evaded zombies that were falling out of the sky. Some of them hit us a little, making us deviate from our straight course, but most of them missed. Ouch, I said when a zombie scratched me with its claws. Take that, Lola said, cutting him open like a fish. Thanks, I said. Don't mention it. Now let's keep going. We kept running. I saw Caitlin and Armin kill a few zombies behind us, and Lola was leading the way, trying to guide us through to escape this evil snare. In there, she shouted. She pointed to an airtight home with no windows and a steel door. We followed her inside and held the door shut. Check if there is any way to get in upstairs, she commanded. We went upstairs, but everything was sealed as if someone was trying to be a hermit or something. Nice house, I said. I wouldn't want to live here, though.
The others agreed. We could hear the eerie sounds made by the zombies outside the door. We put a beam halfway the door just to lock it more tightly. We heard the zombies scratch and bite, but none of them could come in. "How long are we going to be here?" Caitlin asked. "Until they leave," I said. "And seeing how eager they are to get to us, that could be a long time." Chapter 7. Novelty. We sat there for hours, thinking of ways to get out of the house unnoticed to bypass the zombie horde. Even Lola sat down and rested her arms on the pickaxe. She sighed. It was hopeless, and she knew it as well as everyone else. We just stared in front of us, not saying a word. This went on for a while. Then suddenly, when it started to become dark outside, we heard another noise. "Blasted zombies! You won't get away from me so easily!" It was a harsh voice. It had to be a man, but we didn't know who. All we knew was that when we took a quick peek, we saw zombies being thrown up in the air and blood squirting all over the place. "Let's help him out," Lola suggested. We all stood up and began fighting the zombies. When we slashed through a few of those monstrous creatures, we saw a guy with a sword. "The name's Benjamin," he said. "Those evil scoundrels thought they had me, but I pretended to be dead and got my revenge. Now let's get out of here before their little friends will jump off the roofs again." It was obvious that not all zombies had been hanging around the front door, and that some of them had left. This gave us the opportunity to run out of town. "Do we know where we are going?" I asked. "I have a pretty good idea," Benjamin said. "Follow me." He sprinted towards the other side of the village and showed us the rock in front of us. It was Elephant Rock. Ha! It looked exactly like an elephant. Weird. "We have to turn left," Lola said. "That's where they said the colony would be." "Well, how do you know it's on the left side? I see a path leading to the other side," the retired soldier said. "We found a piece of paper that said they would be there," Lola insisted, "so we have to go left." "But what if they meant a left turn coming from the other side?" I asked. She scratched her head. I guessed she hadn't thought of that before. She looked to the left. There was a vast, empty desert with more rocks in sight. Then she looked to the right. Trees had popped out of the ground. There was a little creek and a path leading through the trees to an even greener area. "I have decided we should go right instead," she said sheepishly. "Good decision," we all agreed. We went right and looked back occasionally. The zombies were still after us. How were we going to survive this? Sooner or later they would catch up. But suddenly we saw little houses made out of wood. Villagers from the houses ran towards us and protected us. "Are you okay?" one of them asked. "We are fine, but the zombies are chasing us," I said. When he looked, he ordered all capable men to get their weapons and march forward. I watched in awe as an army of villagers took their rakes, pitchforks, shovels, machetes, swords, and axes and beat those pathetic zombies down. Our enemies didn't stand a chance against these strong men. It was only a matter of minutes before the last zombie was slashed by a brave man from the village. "It's good to have you here," one of them said as they came back. But I didn't pay much attention. I saw some familiar faces. Could it be true? No, impossible. After all that hoping and fighting and running? Mom? I said. One of the villagers turned around. It was Mom. "Mom!" I exclaimed. "Michael!" she said as she embraced me. Shortly after, my dad came towards us. "I'm proud of you, boy. You have grown up a lot, and I don't just mean physically. I can tell." "Thanks, Dad," I said. Caitlin and Armin had already disappeared. Maybe they found some other villagers they knew, or maybe they just ran off to kiss or something. I didn't want to know. I figured I would see them later. But Lola was still there. She looked a little jealous when she saw me hugging my parents. She was quiet. I had never seen her this shy before. "Mom, Dad," I said, "meet Lola. She is my friend, and she saved my life." "So great to meet you," my parents said, "and thank you for all you've done." "Oh, it was nothing," she said. "Can we take her in until she finds her family?" I asked. "Sure, my dad said. If she wants to. Is that what you want, Lola, or do you have some better place to go?
No, I don't, she said. Thank you for your hospitality. I would love to stay.
It was like a dream come true. The most beautiful girl in my house. Could you imagine? Thanks, Dad, I said.
No, Lola said quietly. Thank you, Michael.
With those words, she kissed me on the cheek. I melted away. The end. This has been Zombie Apocalypse for Kids, 4 teenagers on a dangerous journey, kids' adventure stories, written by Jeff Child, narrated by John H. Feskins, copyright 2017 by Jeff Child, production copyright 2017 by Jeff Child. Zombie Hunter, Diary of a Warrior in the Zombie Wars, written by Jeff Child, narrated by John H. Feskins. Introduction. In this diary, a zombie hunter tells his story. His uncaring, anti-hero attitude adds some tough flavor to the settings in which he picks his weapons and demonstrates his ability to take out all the undead that cross his path. Read about Sawyer, a guy who has learned to chill and kill, and to protect the Ferrith lands from the dreaded undead with his rough background and no-nonsense methods. Chapter 1. My Profession. My name is Sawyer, and I am a zombie hunter. I've been doing it for years, and I don't care about anything else. This is the life that I am familiar with. I wait, I kill, and I get paid. I protect the citizens of this great country against the impulsive invasions of the undead. You never know where they are going to show up, and you never know how many of them there will be. I don't know what turns humans into zombies. I really don't. That's not my field. Researchers and lab guys have been intrigued by this their entire lives. To each his own, right? If they want to sit in a laboratory all day, then that's their decision. Not me, though. I make sure those detested derelicts stay in the status they should be in. Dead. How do I do it, you ask? Oh, I got my methods. I slice them, shoot them, chop them, stab them. It's an art and a profession of decision and anticipation. You have to be quick. Some of those zombies were probably warriors themselves before they became the filthy monsters they are today, and so their alertness and battle skills are impressive. Well, for a zombie. I use various weapons. I don't like to stay with one particular favorite. Differentiating makes a difference. It keeps the job interesting, and it challenges me to improve and broaden my expertise. Let's go through the list, shall we? I have pickaxes, swords, battle axes, shovels to bang them on the head, knives, bows and arrows, and maces. Okay, I don't use them all the same amount of time, and I think I mostly end up with a sword and a few knives if nothing else, but you get the point. My home is a weapon room, and I love it. I was never good with emotions. It used to bug me when kids cried all the time. I've learned to be tough in life. My parents were still together, but they were hard on me. I learned to just deal with problems, not to whine about it and feel sorry for myself. I guess that's why I chose the profession that I did. People who are too fragile or wimpy don't take this job. They know that somehow, someday, they will see a zombie that has too much of a resemblance to someone they know, and then they hesitate. I never hesitate. Never. When a zombie comes running at me, I go for the kill. I don't doubt, I don't waver. I know what has to be done, and I am more than willing to do it. So now you know a little something about me. I am single, and I wish to stay that way. I am young, and I just want to get some cash. Killing zombies is an excellent way to do that. Can you guess how much the city or village mayors are willing to pay me to exterminate the zombies that attack their towns? Don't even think you can guess. Let's just stop talking about it. Suffice it to say that I make a decent living. It's awesome. Awesome is exactly what I want to be. It's what I always aspired to become, nothing less. And being awesome is something you can't do by talking or making claims. Talk is cheap. Taking action is the only way to improve yourself, and that's what I've been doing my whole life. Now, are you ready for an awesome story? A story where I faced one of my biggest challenges? Brace yourself. Here it goes. Chapter 2: The Toughest Kill I've Ever Made. You may expect a heroic narrative of epic battles and fast, action-packed scenes when I tell you that I want to share with you the toughest kill I've ever made. You might expect a monstrous, gigantic zombie who is indestructible and 3 times the size of the others, but it wasn't. My toughest kill wasn't such a tough persona. It was tough for me because, for the last time, I had a hard time with my decision to do the right thing. Why? My feelings got in the way. It was actually kind of tragic. If you can't stand a little sorrow or suffering, then stop reading at this point, because this is a sad story. Remember how much I hate crying? So toughen up and let it go. Things happen, and happy endings are realistic, but they can be disrupted by the occasional misfortunate occurrence. It was one of my best friends. Well, he was kind of annoying, but he still didn't deserve to die. He was the kind of guy that would burp loudly in public and hit on the ladies with only a disgusted response awaiting him. No, he wasn't a nice dude. He was a jerk. But for some reason, we got along quite well. And no, he didn't deserve to die, especially not the way he did. It was on a Friday. Both he and I had been in the pub for a few hours, and we were just joking around. I came to find out that he was a skeleton hunter, and that his frequent visits to the underworld matched my trips to faraway towns to solve the zombie problems there. I remember it so vividly. At a certain point, he said, "Sawyer, with your job, you can't try to connect to others too much. It will kill you psychologically." "What do you mean?" I asked. "I mean that sometimes you'll have to choose between what's right and what's easy. You cannot save everyone. You realize that, don't you?" "I didn't expect you to be so serious," I said. "You are always offending people with your indecent jokes. Why are you lecturing me?" "Look," he said, "I'm not happy. I am waiting for that glorious moment when I can be released from the tragedies of this life. The afterlife is waiting for me. Do you know why I do what I do?" "I don't have the slightest idea, so enlighten me," I said. "My wife got killed by a skeleton. Don't worry, no kids were left behind. But I can't tell you how much anger I am still holding inside of me towards those creatures. The best way I knew how to deal with it was to start killing them for a living. I have been to the underworld, a hellish, infernal place, and I have saved several people from being overcome by the same fate, but sometimes I am too late." "That must be hard." "Are you listening to me?" he asked, as he grabbed my shoulders and shook me a little. "It will happen to you. You have to live with the disappointment. You cannot let yourself go soft, buddy." "Okay, I get it. I will keep it in mind," I said. After that, we didn't speak another word. I felt for him. I knew he had wished to die so many times, but that he stayed alive to protect others, a noble thing to do. But then it happened. It happened so quickly that I still recall the astonishment and the rush I felt. Zombies were attacking the village. Oh, and by the way, did I mention that there were only about 30 people in that village? Yes, it was more like a fork in the road than an actual village, more like a hamlet. Anyway, as always, I carried around a number of weapons. I had a knife in my pocket and a pickaxe on my back. I never go anywhere without something to defend myself with, and this day was no different. And that evening, I made sure to use them, because when the zombies attacked, I had no time to run home. They stormed in. Rah! The ones in the pub were first, and I heard people yell and scream from the homes in that little hamlet. I drew my pickaxe from my back and held it in front of me. I looked at my friend, the skeleton slayer. He already had a sword ready and had killed a couple of zombies before I could even blink my eyes. What a tough guy. "Come and get it, zombies!" I yelled, and I stepped forward, cutting one of them in half. "Nice to see us working together," my friend said. "I'll tell you what, you take out the male zombies and I'll take out the female zombies. It seems like you care a bit more about who you kill anyway." I was a little hurt that he thought of me like some pathetic wuss who would care about something like that, but I accepted his offer nonetheless. We hacked and slashed, and the zombies were still coming in. Within minutes, the entire pub was filled with townspeople who had been turned into zombies and were now turning on us. Suddenly, I heard a cry from the other side of the room. "Ah!" "Hey, what's going on?" I asked. "Oh, one of the zombies bit me, Sawyer. You have to finish me off." It was my friend. I looked to the left. I looked to the right. There weren't that many zombies left. My friend was kneeling down. His weapon had dropped. Everything became blurry, as if a slow-motion effect was being put on my life. I hacked at another zombie in front of me and kicked another one through the window as I ran forward. I bent over and put my arm on my friend's shoulder and asked him how he was doing. "This is it, Sawyer," he said. "It was good to meet you. I am ready to meet my wife in the afterlife." "What are you talking about, man? We can get help. You'll be all right." "You know I won't be," he said laughingly. "It doesn't matter. I knew this would happen someday. Go ahead. Finish me. Don't let me become one of them." "But I don't want to end your life. Come on," I said. "This isn't right. There has to be something we can do." Then he grabbed me by my shirt, looked me straight into my eyes, and said, "Toughen up, Sawyer. Do what needs to be done. Stop caring and do it." I killed him. I closed my eyes when I did it. Yeah, that was the toughest kill I've ever made. I still remember it so well. His name was Jake. Chapter 3. The Good Life. After this cheerful anecdote, I hope you understand that my life isn't all misery and darkness. You see, Jake wanted to meet his wife again, and he firmly believed in heaven. He was ready, and he had done his part. Besides, after this, I did exactly as he said. It was a valuable lesson for me. I toughened up, and I distanced myself from friendships. Now, that may not be the best thing to do for everyone, but for me, it became a convenient lifestyle. The good life, that's what I called it. Stop caring, stop thinking, and just do it. That was kind of my motto. I've lived this way for a long time, and I don't get tired of it. Do you want to know where I get my excitement from? Action. It's all about the action. I love it when the enemy seems larger and unbeatable. I love a challenge. I love the rush of cheating death over and over again, and I especially crave the adrenaline that flows through my body each time I chop off the head of one of those mindless, ugly zombies. It gives me a sense of satisfaction that I don't think I could find anywhere else. And then there is another thing. I have plenty of money. That's right, I am pretty loaded, so when I have to choose between inns, I can afford the most luxurious one. I give to beggars when I see them, I buy fruit at the markets when I feel like it, and I change weapons and clothes when I need a different style. It's all part of the good life. The freedom to spend whatever I want, and not having to care about saving up or paying the bills. My cabin where I live is fairly cheap anyway. I started living there because I didn't need a big home, and it's good enough. The third thing that excites me in life is the perfection challenge. I have yet to learn so many moves it's not even funny. After having mastered the art of sword fighting and different styles of martial arts, I went into archery, studied the ancient ways of butt-kicking without weapons, and became an expert at maneuvering through hordes of zombies without even touching them. Everything is interesting. Curiosity drives me, and I often reflect on my combat skills after another day of cleaning up the streets of some victimized town by those undead creeps. So there you have it. I love my life, and even though you could say I am alone a lot, I don't get lonely. I get a kick out of the action every time. I have enough wealth to keep me happy, and I improve my skills and knowledge about the ancient fighting arts each day. Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, it was, until something went terribly wrong. Chapter 4. Alarming Events. It was a dawning day full of doom and despair. It had never been like this before. I mean, the Fairthlands had had their problems, but not like this. And even for me, it would be an immense obstacle to the survival of our species, mankind. I woke up that day feeling normal and prepared to eat a good meal. I had several breakfast items in my cupboards, and I immediately cooked some bacon and eggs to fill my stomach. As soon as I was done with that, I went to my little training room. But as I was practicing my moves in front of the mirror, I became aware of something that was coming for me. Bang! The door flew open. I was startled. No later than a few seconds afterwards, zombies were all over my house. They knocked over my assets and furniture. With my sword, I kept them at a considerable distance. "Stay back!" I yelled as I killed a few of them. When I glanced at my kitchen area, however, I felt really stupid. I had left the stove on. It was a miracle nothing had happened before. The gas was leaking and the zombies were bumping into flammable objects, making the danger something to be taken seriously. That's when I ran out of my cabin. I took the back door on the other end, the emergency exit in my small training room, and ran as fast as I could. When I looked behind me, boom! The remains of the structure collapsed after exploding into 1,000 pieces. I fell onto the ground. I covered my head, making sure that no debris would fall on me. A few seconds later, I looked back. "My beautiful cabin," I said. "I just barely paid it off. I definitely know who is going to pay for this. Those stupid zombies." This was it. I had nothing to lose now. I guess it was kind of my fault, but those zombies had been blocking my way. If they hadn't come, I would have done something about the stove. But it was gone now. My money had all been in that house. It was gone, all gone. I checked one more time to make sure, but I couldn't find anything valuable that hadn't been turned into ashes. I felt empty-handed, almost naked, in a metaphoric way. I was left with nothing. Where did those zombies come from? It made no sense. "Revenge," I said. "It's not just business anymore. This time, it's personal." And that's when I decided to get to the bottom of it. I went to the closest town, only to discover that there weren't many people left. When I asked a random pedestrian on the street what had happened there, the answer was, zombies. So I left. I went to another town. I walked for 2 hours and found the little village undergoing the same dilemma. Again, I asked some woman who walked outside what was going on. Her answer? Zombies. So I went to the city, and even there, when I arrived, I saw some homes lying in ruins. Others were deserted. People were scared. The streets were relatively empty. I wanted to know everything about it. I knew zombies would occasionally attack in different places, but not all surrounding towns at the same time, and hardly ever in the city. I went straight to the city hall, hoping to find my answers there. When I arrived at the square in front of the building, the mayor was sitting on the stairs that led to the main entrance. "Are you the mayor of this city?" I asked bluntly. "Yes, I am. Who are you?" "My name is Sawyer. I am a zombie hunter, and it seems like your city has been raided by zombies. Am I correct?" Yes, you are. Did you just say you are a zombie hunter?" "I did." "Then you are who we need, my friend. Please come inside and I will explain everything." I was still suspicious. I wanted more answers, and this random figure didn't have them for me yet. So I asked, "Why were you sitting on the stairs here? Don't you have better things to do?" "Actually," he began, "I was kind of out of it. I asked my counselors for a break. I needed some fresh air. There have been so many problems coming at us that I didn't know what to do, but I am grateful that you are here. Perhaps you can help us. But don't worry about it now. We will answer all your questions in the meeting room." And that's when I shut up and just followed him. Chapter 5. The disease was spreading. I entered the meeting room in the great city hall. It was a modest room with seats and a table, like any meeting room should be. With my sword on my back and a knife in my pocket, I was certainly the one person that stood out amongst these posh bureaucrats. "Mr. Mayor, who is this?" one of the counselors asked. "This man is the solution to our problems, gentlemen," the mayor said. Then he turned to me and said, "Please have a seat." I sat down and stared some of these educated individuals in the eyes. They weren't too sure about my rough look and my dusty outfit, and when they saw the big sword on my back, I think some of them became somewhat nervous as well. "Gentlemen," the mayor began, "this is Sawyer. He is a zombie hunter. Tell them what you do, Sawyer." "Like he said, I hunt zombies." "Elaborate, please." "Well, I stab them, I cut them to pieces, I break them in half, I pound them to pieces—" "Okay, we get it, we understand," the mayor said, interrupting my graphic description of the everyday onslaught that typified my life. "Sawyer is the answer to our problems. He will hunt down the zombies for us and make them disappear. Won't you, Sawyer?" "Sure, but I have a question. How come there are so many of them? It's not normal." "That's a good question," the mayor said. "Several days ago, zombies were spotted, but they weren't regular zombies. As you may know already, a human being can turn into a zombie after being bitten, but these zombies were different. All they had to do was sneeze, and the people would become infected instantly. It was a disaster. The disease was spreading like wildfire. People were panicking. Entire towns were being turned into zombie towns. Men and women left their homes and fled to the city, but even here we couldn't hold them all back. Many of us hid in our homes, and the zombies vanished from the city, but I know they will be back. They are assaulting other surrounding towns as we speak. Something must be done." "And what makes you think I can stop that? If they sneeze on me, I will turn into a zombie too. Did you think of that?" "We have created a vaccine. It is being given to people at this moment. A lot of my messengers and servants are taking this antidote to all people in the nation. So at least that is being taken care of. The disease will stop spreading. The antidote is being transported everywhere." "Then why do you need me? If you're already handling it, then what's my role?" "We are willing to pay you if you kill the zombies. Just because we are immune to becoming a zombie doesn't mean that we aren't in danger. There is still a whole army of zombies out there." "Makes sense," I said. We discussed the payment and the terms of the contract. Everything else was clear to me. This was what I was looking for. Now I could kill these zombies to get my vengeance and to get money. Wow, what else does a guy need, right? Chapter 6. Interesting side note. As I talked some more with the mayor and one or two of his less suspicious counselors, I began to understand where and when all this drama with the zombies had started. It was several decades ago. Personal hygiene was pathetic, and nobody knew about bacteria. It was only after this incident that people comprehended the significance of washing hands and other precautions against illnesses. The result was the Black Plague, a terrible disease that took the lives of many. Nobody knew the cure, and in order to create a cure, lab scientists started fiddling around with chemicals. Nothing could have been worse for mankind than what they did. They injected needles, threw potions on the floor, and combined the elements of the ferrith lands to create an antidote. If only they knew what they would unleash by doing so. The first signs were increased aggression and disturbed mental behavior. The scientists should have stopped with the experiments at that point, but the authorities kept pressuring them to keep going, and they did. Once the virus took over, it was too late. Zombies were a fact, and since then, zombies have been part of life. They always attack in groups or hordes, but the hordes have never been big enough to swipe out entire villages. That's why I was always able to stand my ground and kill as many of them as was necessary without getting killed. Interesting, huh? Yes, I thought so myself. But now times have changed. The hordes have become bigger. Their numbers have increased, and for some reason they have shown different behavior than before. They stick together, forming huge hordes that crash through any town, any city, and any stronghold. There are hundreds of them, and everyone fears them. And then they turned to me, their last hope. I knew not to let them down. They were going to have the best show of their lives. Bring it on, zombies! Chapter 7. The Biggest Killing Spree in History. It was early in the morning. It was the day after I met with the mayor and his counselors. All of them had high expectations. The city didn't have many soldiers, and they were all too scared of the zombies. Bunch of wimps. They relied on me and on me only. This was my moment to shine or to die. Either way, with a sense of desperation, the feeling of a guy who lost everything but still wants to fight back, that feeling, I went and stood my ground. And if that wasn't bad enough, then listen to this. The whole city, or however many people were left in it, came to watch. Thousands of them. They were standing on the city walls and were cheering me on. There I was, outside the city walls, on a visible giant grass field awaiting my doom. I closed my eyes and put my hands in some kind of meditation position. The hordes were coming. We all knew it. The city walls were airtight, and everyone hoped that I would be able to stop these monsters from invading their fortified habitat. The city gates were closed, even though that didn't stop the zombies last time, and the soldiers were watching with the commoners. When I opened my eyes, I glanced at the mayor. His eyes were big. He didn't know what to think, but when he saw the determination in my eyes, I knew that he knew for sure that he had made the right decision. It was one of those almost telepathic moments. There they were, the hordes of zombies. At first, only a few appeared on the horizon, then dozens, then hundreds, and this army of the undead grew larger and larger. I spat out a piece of gum I was chewing. I tightened the headband around my head, and I took the sword from my back and the knife from my pocket. Its shiny surface was reflected in the sun, and an epic, dramatic moment had begun. I walked forward at the horde that was running at me. Then I increased my pace, and when I came closer, I sprinted towards them. "Ah!" I yelled. "Die, zombies, die!" Tsiyak! My sword cut through a bunch of them, and within a tiny glimpse, they were all focused on me. I slashed, I cut, I punched, and I kicked. I threw some of them away and used others as a shield when they were fighting back. Bang, clash, thud. The fight went on and on. I had never faced so many zombies at the same time. It was a new milestone for me, and the chances of dying were so high that I stopped caring. Occasionally, I got a fist in my face or a zombie who was trying to eat me. During my kicking and yelling and slashing, I made sure that none of them came close enough with their teeth. One time, however, one of the zombies came too close. He almost bit me, and I was glad I stepped back just in time. That was close, I told myself, after which I punched him in the face. The zombies became overwhelming. They all attacked me at the same time. On a pile of dead, undead bodies, I was fighting them off one by one. But I knew I wouldn't last long. They jumped at me and piled up on me, pinning me to the ground and making me lose my sword. Between the arms, the legs, and the corpses, I desperately reached for my blade. Useless. Too far away. I had to do something. Then I remembered that I had another spare knife hidden in the back of my boot. I had always kept that one there, just in case, and I totally forgot about it up to this point. I wiggled my hand down and tugged at the knife. "Got it," I said. After nearly choking underneath the dozens of zombies on my body, I was finally able to cut through several of them and fight my way back to the surface. I dove to my sword, grabbed it, and faced the monstrous enemies again. "You thought you were done with me? Think again!" I yelled loudly. The zombies were decreasing in numbers. Piles of zombie corpses were joined by other falling foes. The slaughter was incredible, the massacre immense, and the likelihood of this ever happening again was practically zero. I was like a ferocious beast. I was caught up in the most adrenaline I had ever felt in my life. I hacked and slashed and stabbed as if I had an endless flow of energy running through my veins. And then it almost stopped. Only a few zombies were still standing. Some of them had already run away. Others were looking at me with doubts in their empty, brainless heads. 2 of them came at me in a final attempt to take me out. Stab! Stab! Bad idea on their part, because they died that instant. The others ran away. "Is that all you've got?" I said, catching my breath. I wanted to shout more taunting one-liners, but I didn't have it in me. I collapsed. I fell to the ground, drained from the numerous strikes and the devastating limits of the human body. I was exhausted, and I passed out. It became black. Chapter 8. Back on my way. I woke up. I slowly opened my eyes. A lot of people were standing around me. They were the city people who had been watching. I felt like a gladiator in an arena. Me against the zombies. That was what it had come down to. What were the odds that I would win this? But when I saw all those people, I knew that I had won. I was victorious. I gained consciousness, and I was happy to see how many of them were proud of me. They cheered. They were impressed, and they wanted to celebrate. "Congratulations," the mayor said. "I can't believe you pulled it off. It's hard to express in words what you did here. You saved us from the zombie horde, and we are indebted to you. Tell me what you want, and I will try to arrange it for you." "Water," I said. "What?" the mayor asked. "Water. I am thirsty." The mayor got someone to fetch some water. When he came back, I felt in heaven. Can you imagine how much I had been sweating during that severe fight? I felt like I was dying from dehydration, but when the water arrived, I drank my heart out. When I was done, I had renewed strength. I looked at them. I nodded, and I accepted the payment from the mayor. Then I walked away. "You're not going to celebrate?" the mayor asked. "Nope," I said without looking back. "But the people want you to socialize with them." "Don't feel like it," I said. "Oh, come on, are you sure?" "Yep." And that was it. I got what I wanted, money and revenge. I didn't want to get emotionally attached to all these people. Why would I care? If I did, I would only end up killing them or watching them die sometime in my life when they would turn into zombies themselves. Hey, don't get me wrong. I cared about their well-being, which was part of the reason why I accepted the assignment in the first place, but part of me didn't want to have a broken heart. Makes sense, doesn't it? So yes, I left, and I kept it at that. I know it's not over. I'm pretty certain that there are still zombies in other parts of the country, and that's okay. It keeps me going. It gives me something to do. Come and get it, suckers. I'm waiting for my next mission. My name is Sawyer, and I am a zombie hunter. I've been doing it for years, and I don't care about anything else. The end. This has been Zombie Hunter, Diary of a Warrior in the Zombie Wars, written by Jeff Child, narrated by John H. Feskins. Copyright 2017 by Jeff Child. Production copyright 2017 by Jeff Child.